Welcome to the Better Business Podcast. I'm your host, Austin Zelan. Join me week after week as I interview high-level entrepreneurs on their journey to success, both in business and personal development. Each week presents new stories to learn from and new ideas on how to run a better business. Stay updated with all the guests we'll have by subscribing to this podcast. Welcome to another episode of Better Business with Austin Zelan. I'm super excited to have our guest Aleric Heck here with us today. He's doing YouTube ads on a whole nother level, and I'm super excited to talk about that with him and a couple other things that he's got in the works. So Aleric, thank you so much for joining me here today. Super excited to interview you. Now, before we get started, can you just give the audience a little bit of an idea of the type of things that you've got going on in the YouTube space?
Yeah, absolutely. So my main business, Ad Outreach, helps businesses, entrepreneurs, be able to leverage YouTube ads to get more consistent leads, clients, and sales. And really, the main thing that we're focusing on is actually training businesses on how to leverage the power of YouTube ads. So we work closely either with the marketing teams, media buyers, sometimes the entrepreneurs themselves to learn how to leverage those YouTube ads to be able to scale and grow, especially with other ad platforms like Facebook and Google Search getting more and more expensive. YouTube ads is a really good opportunity to get in front of the right people at the right time with a video ad. So that's kind of the main thing that I've been focusing on.
Okay, awesome. Now, before we started the podcast, you did mention something super interesting to me where you're making passive income with a YouTube channel. Can you tell us, how does that even work? How can somebody else possibly make passive income with YouTube?
Yeah. So exactly. So my first business was AppFind, and it's a YouTube channel that reviews mobile apps, tech tutorials. I started it a while ago. So I started 15 years ago, back in 2009. YouTube was a totally different platform. That's how I got my start. I also started when I was pretty young. So I'm 27 now. I started when I was 12. Created that channel, was reviewing mobile apps, tech tutorials, teaching people how to use their iPhone for the first time. And people started watching that content. More and more people were watching it. I was growing it throughout high school and into college. And soon what I realized is, I had all these people watching. It grew to over 500,000 subscribers. So people were watching the videos. And I had a series that was working really well, which was a complete beginner's guide. So I would teach people, here's a complete beginner's guide to use your iPhone or your iPad or whatever new technology device came out. And then I would start to teach people to download sponsored apps and recommended, applications and skins and cases and things like that. And so it started earning revenue from YouTube, from the YouTube ads themselves. Which actually led me to wanting to see, okay, well, how do these YouTube ads, work, and diving into the other side of things. But it was also making money from the affiliate revenue and from sponsorships. And so essentially, during college, I actually did something a little bit different than what a lot of other people who were doing YouTube did at the time. I actually, hired a video editor, business development person. I hired a scriptwriter. And I started to look at how can I pull myself out of this to potentially even having a new, kind of face of the channel. And I went through a few different iterations, and I was doing that so that I could focus on ad outreach, which I launched, during college to help with YouTube ads. And, we'll get more into that in a second. And so essentially what I ended up doing was kind of creating a whole production process around the YouTube channel. Before the term YouTube channel automation was even a thing, I was just kind of figuring it out, along the way. And what I ended up landing on and what I have now is I've got a friend of mine. I've known him for over a decade. He's in the tech space. He lives out in San Francisco, and he has always been into iPhones, always into technology. And it was his kind of dream to run a YouTube channel. And he had started some YouTube channels. I had mine that had grown, and we realized, well, with my channel and the audience and the following that I have, I don't have the time to do it anymore. And he would love to really grow a channel and be the face and the brand of the channel. And so we said, hey, let's have you come in, run this channel. And that's, gave him a full-time, employment position to run that channel and grow that. And now I have somebody that basically is the face, voice, runs the channel. We've got, help getting sponsorships and different things like that, makes money from ad revenue, sponsorships, affiliates. And I have a meeting, every, couple weeks or so. And, and that's also, I love jamming on new technology. So we'll also, it's kind of a fun meeting too, just to see how things are going and catch up and see how I can support. and then it kind of runs itself. And so, yeah, now I've got that basically passive income YouTube channel and just going on in the background.
Wow, that's really cool. So are you basically paying them a set fee to run it, or is it like a profit split or something like that?
Yeah, great question. So it is a salary plus a performance bonus based on the revenue generated from the videos produced. So, yeah.
Do you feel like the videos have gotten more successful as you've had a whole team running it, as opposed to just trying to do everything on your own?
So it's one of those classic curves where it dips for a little bit and then it goes up, right?
Yeah.
So it's like basically when I was running it originally, it was, it was growing in its success, and then I kind of stepped away, and then it had a little bit of a dip, like a valley, right? But here's the thing, like that's like the valley of despair. Like people like leave and quit during that,
Yeah.
but you gotta hold through, and then it went up, and now it's even better. And we finally have a formula that works really well. So the Complete Beginner's Guides, what we realized is that's like the big winning piece of content. Because I used to do like app reviews, used to do, all kinds of different like videos, like, hidden features, things like that. A lot of people do that. What the channel now does is Complete Beginner's Guide for consumer electronics like iPhones and different technology. And we will do hour-long videos on like how to use the iPhone from A to Z. We'll do a 30-minute video on how to use the Remarkable tablet, and people buy that and they're like, Remarkable tablet tutorial. And then they see our video and they see other videos that are 5 minutes. They see our videos 30 minutes. There's a certain group of people that want to watch longer video. YouTube rewards watch time. So the videos perform quite well.
Wow, interesting. You got like a whole formula behind it.
Yeah, exactly. So
wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I think it's very interesting that you mentioned kind of that valley of despair. I think a lot of people go through that in business, and whenever they try to change something, and I've seen this happen so many times, like they change one little thing, or like they have a new team take over and they're like, wow, like things were bad and now they're even worse, and like they're just like, they don't know what they're doing. I need a new team, and they keep like jumping from team to team to team, and that keeps putting them in new valleys. They never get out of that valley. So although sometimes, yes, it is maybe an incorrect decision that they switch to somebody they shouldn't be working with or something like that. But for the most part, it's like, it's a typical thing in business that you see, where you see a bit of a dip and then you finally figure things out and you start seeing that growth trajectory. So cool. Now let's talk a little bit about ad outreach. Could you tell me kind of the story behind how that whole thing began and what prompted you to start that business?
Yeah, so it actually perfectly segues from the YouTube channel. So I had the channel in college, and it was making good revenue, kind of low six figures. But at the same time, it's just like, all right, I know I want to build like my big like company. I know I want to build that multi-million-dollar, business, and I had these aspirations, and something in me just said like, okay, it's not going to just be this YouTube channel. I can like automate that. It's really good, asset. But at the same time, I knew I wanted to build something else. So I was on the lookout. And I think this is really valuable for people who are watching or listening. Like sometimes you just got to be on the lookout for what's the next thing. And so it came to me when I had all these sponsors that were promoting the different YouTube videos that I was creating. So one day I had one of these mobile apps that sponsored a video. They get a bunch of downloads just from me posting the video. They're like, this is awesome. Can you post the video again? And, we want to pay you to post the video again. We want to double our downloads. And they kind of had a misconception that if I post the video to my same audience, like the next day, they're going to double their downloads. And it's like, well, hey, like my audience has already seen this video, so it's not going to do exactly what you think. And so instead of just taking their money for that, I said, well, what if we just take the same money that you're going to pay, we just put it into YouTube ads, and we promote the video to more people that are similar to the ones that already watched the video. So a little skeptical, because this was like 9 years ago now. And so this is kind of the early days of YouTube ads. And they said, okay, let's give it a try. And so I just, go in and, set it up for the first time, figuring it out. And we ended up getting thousands of downloads for their mobile app. So now they're like, all right, this is amazing. Can we keep doing this? So we kept running that campaign. Then the company came back and they said, hey, we actually have a bigger client that we represent. And that other company ended up becoming actually a unicorn company later on. And so they had these different, all these sponsored videos on YouTube that they were paying for promotions, and they wanted me to take those videos and, promote those everywhere. And the basically the second campaign I ever ran on YouTube was over 1,000, and then became thousands of dollars a day as the second campaign. Wow. So it's kind of crazy. So they're just like, wow, this works so well. Here, we've got a big client, a big budget. and you can go name your price for how much you want us to pay you. Like, what's a big number? At the time I was just like, I don't know, $100 an hour. Like, done. I'm like, whoa, like I left money on the table.
Wow.
As a college student, I was just like, wow. And so then I did that, and then that worked really well. And so that company actually called me up and they said, hey, we want you to drop out of college, fly out to Silicon Valley, join our team. We'll give you, 6-figure salary. We'll give you stock options. You can keep your YouTube channel. Seemed like the dream job, right? But I didn't want the dream job. Like you, like a lot of people watching, I'm sure, like, I'm an entrepreneur, right? I want to be the king of my own castle instead of the knight in someone else's, even if that other person has a bigger castle, at least at that time. And so I said, okay, I want to build this myself. And so originally, what ad outreach was doing YouTube ads for mobile apps. So we drove millions of downloads for a variety of apps. I kind of tapped my network of mobile app developers that I knew at that time. And then I wanted to grow. I wanted to say, okay, how can I go and reach new people? That's when I discovered ClickFunnels, and I signed up there. And it was at HubSpot Inbound in 2016. So I used to live in Massachusetts and Boston. So I went to HubSpot Inbound, saw the ClickFunnels booth, signed up for ClickFunnels. And then that's when I realized that you could do YouTube ads, not just for apps that were free, but you could actually run it for funnels, products that cost hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. Especially started to open my eyes to coaching, consulting, course-based businesses. And that's where ad outreach really kind of evolved to training YouTube ads, especially for education and information, coaching, consulting businesses.
Yeah, definitely. So on that journey, as you were growing your business, it sounds like you had a very logical progression there, which I really appreciate because it's similar to my business. And I think that as the need arose, you found a solution for it and you kind of figured your way out through it. Now, were there any big challenges that you faced along the way of growing that business and figuring out what exactly you wanted to do and how you wanted to do it?
Yeah, so definitely challenges along the way. Early on, it was figuring out, okay, how to build a team the right way and putting operational structure behind different things. And honestly, a lot of my challenges kind of go back to, okay, how do I systematize the different things that I do, because I have big ideas and I am primed to like go fast and grow fast. But sometimes when you go fast, you break things. So that's kind of my issue. I think people, you have to figure out what that middle ground is where you're going to build quickly, but in a stable manner. I think that a lot of entrepreneurs are hardwired for the grow fast, but also some people who maybe are looking to get into entrepreneurship, maybe they're used to the 9 to 5, might be hardwired to grow slow or go too slow, right? And so it's that middle ground, but basically, going really, and you kind of want to go fast and then fix things fast as well. So that's kind of like the piece too. But basically, I think that the biggest kind of challenges early on was figuring out how to, who to hire, how to hire them, and how to know that I have the right people on the team, because we went through, some different people. And then as we grew, some of the other challenges that we faced was, not not realizing that we need to make sure that we have the right people in the right seats on the right bus. We kind of ballooned our overall team, and we had different bloat in different areas, and I had to learn how to be like an actual CEO. So it's like, I feel like you put on the title of CEO, but then you realize what it really means to be the CEO is that you actually have to make some tough decisions. And it's not just about adding. Sometimes it's about like strategically pruning things. The same thing in ad campaigns, right? Like if you're launching ads, and I teach that all the time, you got to see what works, what doesn't work, and cut what doesn't work. And so I think one of the biggest mistakes I made is just wanting to kind of like collect and build more different, offshoots of the things that we're doing, different people. And more recently, I've realized you got to also know when to prune and to cut things back.
Yeah, no, that's very important. I mean, it's not always about adding, like you said. Sometimes you got to adjust things in the organization. Now, are there any specific strategies that you use that you'd say really boosted the growth of your business?
Yeah. So, I mean, well, the main one is the YouTube ads. Like,
Yeah.
we practice what we preach. So YouTube ads is the main way that we really like scaled things up and grew. And
So basically you ran YouTube ads for your own business.
yes. Yeah. It's kind of funny. And the
YouTube
ads are
ads for
just
YouTube
like
ads.
YouTube ads, just like the one you're watching, and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But, it works quite well. But YouTube ads is the big thing that we used. And, one of the big benefits of that is you can get in front of the right people at the right time with the right message. So on YouTube, people have what I call the learner's mindset. They're actually looking to learn. So they have intent. So what you can do is you can get in front of them with an ad that shows that you have the solution to their problem. And so, a lot of people, their biggest problem, especially, and it still is today, but especially several years ago, as we were really massively growing, was Facebook ads were just squeezing so many different people. Costs were getting more and more expensive. People's accounts were getting shut down all the time. And it was just hard for people to even like scale campaigns effectively because of the way the algorithm worked.
Yeah.
And so what I did is I came out with a message, and my big YouTube ad that, I've had several really great ads, but the one that created the most, like an 8-figure YouTube ad, like this one YouTube ad we could track back over 8 figures of revenue from, is YouTube ads beat Facebook ads every time. Let's face it, Facebook ad costs are going through the roof. And even when you have great ads, they're almost impossible to scale. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use YouTube ads to scale your business to 7 or even 8 figures. That ad, and then I, kind of dive into the educational component. That ad was, a massive, massive winner. And we've had different iterations of it. Eventually, some of the things I say in the video, like in the educate section, became outdated. That's the only reason we kind of ended up phasing that particular one out. But that was one of the main drivers of, new clients, new things for a while. And we just, scaled that a lot.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, would you
Yeah.
say that's something that can be applied to any business, or are there specific industries where YouTube ads just make more sense?
That's a great question. So I think that you can apply a variation of this strategy to a wide variety of businesses. So I want to lead with that. That being said, we have found some businesses work far better than others. And the ones that work the best are coaching, consulting, course, education, higher ticket businesses. And the reason for that is YouTube's an education-based platform. So people are going on YouTube. They might be looking up, how do I, create passive income, right? How do I do that? They're watching videos. Then you get in front of them with an ad and teaching them, hey, this is exactly how you can do it. So they're in the learner's mindset. It's a little bit different than on Facebook. Facebook, people are kind of scrolling, right? So they're on their phones, they're scrolling through. But the problem is, they might not be in that state where they're actually looking to learn. They might be more in an entertainment state. On YouTube, you can reach people that are actually watching videos, they're looking to learn, they're engaging. And then let's say you have a training, like a free training, they're watching a video, then it's like you show that you hook them, you say, hey, here's how we're gonna show you how you can, generate passive income. And, then you educate a little bit, you talk about, some of the background, and then you have a call to action at the end and you say, hey, I've got a free training. It's gonna walk you through step-by-step how this works. Just click the link, name, email, and you'll get instant access. And then people do that. And then now they're watching a video. What were they already doing? They were watching videos on YouTube. So they're far more likely to actually consume the content versus people that sign up for videos or webinars from, Facebook or other platforms. They might not be in that state to watch the video right away. And if they don't watch it right away, sometimes they never watch it.
Yeah.
So that's another big reason that YouTube ads, work so well.
And is there an ideal ad time that you found for YouTube?
Yes. And that actually has changed over time. Originally, we had a lot of ads that were longer, that were 4, 5, 6 minutes. That being said, YouTube has changed their algorithm to prioritize, because I think there's, some, backlash a little bit with super long ads, although not to say that that's super long, but basically their algorithm prioritizes now ads under 3 minutes. They say that. We still have success with ads that are longer than that. But in general, the best ad is between, we found like 2 minutes to 2 minutes, 59 seconds long, just a little bit under 3 minutes. You don't want to have the ad be too short. These days, you don't necessarily want to have it be too long. That said, there's exceptions to every rule. We still have ads that are 4 or 5 minutes long if the value is there, that are outperforming. In general, though, let's just say about 2.5 minutes is the average. And so you want to have a 15 to 30 second hook, 1 to 2 minute educate section, and then 30 to 45 second call to action. And then put all that together, and you've got a really solid YouTube ad.
Wow, that's awesome. That's super helpful. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, cool. Now let's talk a little bit about the operations of your business and decision-making as a CEO.
Yeah.
So how do you make decisions when maybe you're faced with adversity or you're unsure of what to do? Like, what is your decision-making process?
Great question. And honestly, that's evolved over time, because originally it was, myself kind of making gut decisions or talking with, I've got an amazing COO, Julia. She's been with me since like the beginning, right? And early days. We actually went to the same college, and so she was employee number 1, and we built a lot of things out. But originally it was like the two of us making decisions. A few years ago, I actually met, I don't know if you know Alex Sharfin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Alex Sharfin mentored Russell Brunson and Alex Hormozy and a bunch of like other really awesome people. And then also I'm, very, honored to have been able to have him mentor me as well. And he has a process called simple operations. And it's kind of, in my opinion, better, but similar to like an EOS or those types of things. But basically went through his simple operations like process, and it basically helped me be able and my business be able to implement a operational structure, which is something that we needed at that time. And so now we have kind of a waterfall of different tasks and the way that we kind of execute things. So we have our kind of quarterly, so we have our annual, targets that we want to hit and goals. Then we have our quarterly initiatives, and then in that we have our, monthly, kind of monthly targets, and then we have our weekly tasks. So we have our tasks that we got to do each week. We got our target to hit each month, our initiatives each quarter, and then our overall goals for the year. And so essentially it's kind of waterfalls down. It's like, if we want to do these things, then what do we need to do each quarter? And then we want to do that each quarter.
Mm-hmm.
What do we need to do each month and each week? So there is a lot of similarities with EOS as well. But what Alex kind of taught us with simple operations is the way to run that instead of having meetings, we want to have targeted interactions. We want to, dive in and really make sure that we are very specific in, all right, here's exactly the problem we're trying to solve. Here are the potential solutions. Let's identify which one we want to do. And then also setting aside new ideas to say, okay, if this is a small idea, it can come up on weekly. If it's a medium-sized idea, it can come up monthly. If it's a bigger idea, we need to save it for a quarterly and then bring it to a quarterly initiative to see if it's going to be feasible to do. In the past, I would just come up with an idea and say, all right, let's go and execute this now, which early on is actually good. But what gets you here won't get you there. And so at a certain point, you need to build the structures of like a, kind of full blown, like, a business, right? It's just a different structure at a certain level where you want to make sure that you have more operational efficiency. Whereas early on, you want to be more nimble.
Yeah, definitely. And so basically you're using this structure to guide decisions that you're making in the operations of the company, or have you delegated a lot of those to your COO?
So great question. So certain decisions have been delegated to my COO. Also, innovation is a lot that I still play a part of, but I also want to have the team collectively involved in innovation. So we do a lot of innovative ideas with the team. We actually do something called hackathons, and we do those like a couple times a year. So we have the team come together. Hey, here's a problem we're trying to solve, or just generally, how can we grow the business? Everybody kind of comes up with ideas,
Mm-hmm. Is there a
forms
prize?
teams. Yeah, there's prizes and
Nice.
yeah, it's fun stuff like that. And, forms teams. And then, from there, kind of presents the idea at the end. And then the winning team gets a prize and gets recognition. And basically, that's a great way to promote innovation and also cross collaboration with the team. But then, I'm also really focused on the innovation side. Julia as my COO is really focused on, making those operational decisions. And then I also have a marketing director and a client services director, and they also make a lot of decisions within their own departments. And I've got a sales manager as well that helps make decisions on the sales side. So basically, in each of our departments and areas, we have different people that kind of help make those decisions, and then we come together on a weekly meeting as a executive team.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, what role would you say culture plays in the operations of your business?
I think culture is really, really important. Like, this is something that I have just realized. It's kind of funny because early on, you nod your head and be like, yeah, of course, but you don't really understand. Now I understand. It's just such an integral part of what we do, because now we've gotten a lot more clear on what is our mission, what are our core values, and then making decisions based on that and aligning the team based on that. And the people that align with our core values, like, they allow us as a team to be far more effective and hit our goals and our targets because we're all very cohesive. And so when I had some exceptions in a big area, especially with the type of company that, that I run, and a lot of people in like kind of the consulting or educational or high ticket space, they have, sales teams. And what I found was that a lot of our sales team at one point was not fully culture fits. Again, good people. It's not, again, it's like there's a difference between some people think that culture fit means are they a good person or not? Like, no, that's not it. No, it's just do they fit with our culture? Do they share the same values? You can have different values and say, hey, this is a great person, but do they have the same values that we have? And so that's what we see. And what I noticed at one point, a lot of our sales team didn't fully align with that. And it was effective, but it wasn't, there was something that was holding us back. There was conflicts, there was different things. And so we ended up, making some changes and, letting some people go and moving things around. And then it's gotten so much more cohesive as a team by not having any exceptions. Because at one point I was like, all right, everybody is a core value. First, it was not really thinking about culture and core value fits. Then it was like, okay, all of our employees, and our team, except for the sales team, they're all core value fits. So the sales team, you know how it is. Like, but then eventually it's like, no, everybody's got to be a core value fit, got to be aligned, and got to be, 100% on the exact same, same wavelength. And so we've got our mission. Our mission is to empower businesses to amplify their impact and create a positive ripple effect on the world. And that's what we're doing. Like, we believe that it's not just about YouTube ads, not just about marketing. If we go and help somebody that's going and helping others, that's also why we love working with coaching, consulting, and course businesses. If I go and help somebody who's helping other people get in front of more of the people that they can help, we're creating a positive ripple effect. Through just one person, we can impact thousands and thousands of people. And that gets me excited. That gets our entire team excited. We're all aligned on that, like, ripple effective impact. And we're talking about it. We enroll a new client. We're like, yes, like, like, especially when they have like this big area where they can really create this impact. One of our clients, Jared, he goes and helps like local businesses with their SEO and their Google review profile. And and he came to us and he was facing some challenges, but also a lot of his businesses were facing challenges after the aftermath of COVID and all that stuff. And so basically he essentially was saying like, I need a way to reach these people to impact more people. We helped him with YouTube ads. And now he's gone out, he's worked with hundreds of these local businesses. He's told us stories of those businesses that would have shut down if he hadn't actually gotten in front of them, because their Google review profile makes or breaks a business. And so those are people that will never meet those business owners, but through helping Jared with his ads, getting in front of them, it, potentially saved businesses and also just positively impacted those communities. And so that is like the alignment that we want to have with our team and with our cultures. That's the type of thing we're going for.
Definitely. I love that. Now, when it comes to industry trends and a dynamic market environment, we're in a recession, we're not in a recession, whatever you might think. And especially with such a quickly changing industry like YouTube and digital marketing and all that stuff, how do you stay ahead of all those industry trends? It seems like you've been a front runner for a while, but how do you stay ahead?
Thank you. Yeah. So you always got to be on the cutting edge.
Yeah.
We're always testing new things. We're always, looking and seeing, okay, what's coming next? And I'll actually talk about one of the big ways that we're doing that right now, but I'll give an example. So at a certain point, YouTube, like even as we're, industry like leader on the YouTube ad side, we always want to be cutting edge. We never want to fall behind.
Yeah.
So we always got to keep innovating. So YouTube made major kind of changes with how they do their YouTube ads a couple years ago now. And prior to that, what we were doing is, really focusing on a certain strategy that was our bread and butter. And this was like, this strategy just absolutely dominated. And we had built a lot of our IP on it. And YouTube kind of came out that they were making some changes. It's almost like our strategy is too good. So I don't know. A little conspiracy here. But anyways, they were making some changes and they kind of shifted things away. They were going to shift things away. Yeah. But we knew, like, the minute that they started talking about this, okay, we need to pivot and adapt and create a new strategy. And the interesting thing is there were people on the team at the time that are like, wait, why are we doing this? Like, this strategy is working better than even these new strategies that are in development. But we were developing these strategies like, hey, we need to make sure as things shift that we've got the best strategy with the shift. And so the strategy, as things shifted, though, Google shifted, how they were prioritizing their algorithm. So soon the new strategy that we created that wasn't performing quite as well as our original strategy started performing better. And then they also phased out the original strategy. Couldn't even do this anymore. And so by that time, because we were testing and iterating, we had a new strategy in place. And so when Google announced that they were making changes, we had already had so much testing, the checklist of exactly what to do. We gave everybody checklists. They literally phased out some of the old way. And it wasn't just the way that we were doing YouTube ads. We had a specific way of doing it, but a lot of people were doing YouTube ads. So the way you used to do it is more placement, keyword targeting. So you're more like targeting in front of specific videos or in front of specific channels or in front of specific like videos with keywords and tags. And now like keywords and tags aren't even really as relevant anymore, but basically those types of things. Now it's all more audience based, right? But there's still a way to do it with intent, which I'll talk about in a second. And so they're shifting over to audience based. And so they announced this. I did a full, like anybody who had ever been a client, I did like a 3-hour, like full training webinar, in-depth, like checklist so that people can transfer things over. Even if they weren't a client right then, I was just like, hey, here's how to like shift from where you were to where you're going. Because again, that aligns with our core values. We're here to create an impact. And so even if people, weren't actively like a client, I want to make sure that they're all like taken care of as things are shifting over. And that was definitely like a really positive thing that I was glad that we were able to do. And then we also kind of helped them continue from there. But basically, it's like, all right, here's how to shift over to the new area. And actually, here's how it's working better. And so then people shifted over like, this is way better. That being said, there were other people who weren't quite innovating and, kind of different areas. And I got a lot of messages because Google announced it in October and then they made it like ironclad in January. Like you literally could not run the old version. And the amount of people that reached out in that January, this was a couple of years ago, but in that January to February timeframe and just like, hey, my ads just aren't, like, can you help? Like, cause I work with this or that, or this agency or with that person. And so that's why we always got to be on the cutting edge because things are always changing. And even strategies that are the absolute winners for us, they might not be the long-term strategy forever. The platform changes or something better comes along. We want to find that better thing. The other thing that we've been doing is actually created a software called Keyword Search, keywordsearch.com. Does AI ad targeting for YouTube and Google ads. And it took the manual process that we would do. And a lot of this is the type of thing that we would do with or for clients to actually help them research, okay, here's all the different, search terms your ideal clients are searching for, which you can put into a search, custom intent audience to target people based on what they're searching for, URLs to create a URL affinity audience based on websites they're going to, and these types of things. We originally would spend hours and hours creating these spreadsheets with all of these targeting options. And I said, well, wait a second, like as AI started to, and even before AI, so we started the software project 3 years ago and it was like pre-AI, then AI just made it faster and better. I was like, well, wait a second, like what if we had a way just to do this automatically? All this research we're doing manually. And so I partnered up with Greg, who's now my CTO. He was involved in some other AI companies and things like that. And now he's my CTO for Keyword Search. And basically we created a company, Keyword Search, that does the AI ad targeting. People just put in the URL of their site. It reads their website. Then, and there's also other inputs, but that's my favorite. It like literally reads their whole website. And it says, based on all this data, uses AI to understand who their ideal client is. Based on all of this, here's the search terms your ideal clients are likely searching for. Here's all the other websites they might be going to. You'll get thousands of search terms, hundreds of websites. You can just choose which ones you want. And we have a one-click integration to Google Ads to sync it to Google Ads. So we created this, and it actually took the time for people to implement. Like this used to be a multi-hour process, used to be things that we also used to be a big deliverable for us. I remember at the time, one of our team members said, Aleric, like, why are we disrupting ourselves? Like, why are we creating a software that like, this is the type of thing we do for clients, right? And I said, well, if we don't disrupt ourselves, somebody else will do it for us. So wouldn't we rather that we disrupt ourselves? And that was the big takeaway there. So I think that's like a key answer to your question is if you don't disrupt yourself, someone else will do it for you.
That's good. And I think you said something really important there because like you have a lot more control if you're the one disrupting yourself and you're actually putting everybody else like on their toes. Like you're also probably disrupting your competitors because they're also doing what you're doing. And if you create something that's even better, they're like, man, this guy's just so far ahead. I can't catch up.
Exactly.
So no, I love that. Cool. Now, another thing that I wanted to talk about is attracting and retaining top talent.
Yes.
So obviously to do something like you're doing, you got to have some of the best people in the game. So how do you attract that talent? And most importantly, how do you keep them on your team?
Great question. So in terms of attracting them, I think a big part is being that, innovator, kind of leader, thought leader as well. So, what's really interesting is especially people on the media buying and marketing side, there's a lot of people that came to us that said, "Hey, I've been like following you for a while, and when I saw that you were, hiring, like I needed to reach out and like, wow, I'm so excited to be a part of that." And so I think sometimes people look at their personal brand and they see it really as only a way to get potential clients or to provide value. I mean, I see it as providing value, but like, if you're thinking about a business context, right? Like I'm potentially get clients that way, but it's not just about that, right? It's about, potential partnership relationships. It's also about providing value, which is aligned with what we're doing, but also potentially there might be people who are looking to work for you and be on your team and really with you. I don't consider it work for me. Like it's with me, right? We're all on a mission together. And so we're all working together as a team. And so, those people, they might be consuming your content and they say, "Hey, I'd love to be a part of this mission." Like when you actually share that. And then being very clear on our mission and core values. And then to speak to your other point, then I'll give you a tactical way to find people because we found one that's really good outside of people that might be following you already. But in terms of retention, that really is the core values and culture, because I can tell you that I know that our team members, they get, offers from different places and things like that. And, it's, especially in the marketing world, there's kind of like, different people try to go and poach. But here's the thing, like the culture, the core values, the way that we do, what we do, that is so aligned and our team is so cohesive. And, I call it the dream team, right? It's like, that's what we are. I know it's kind of corny but at the same time, like we just have such an amazing team and culture and core values that we're also aligned with each other that I think a lot of people, and myself included, can't imagine working with, anywhere else. And I think that is a key element to that retention that a lot of people miss out on. And it really is building up that culture and the way that you're working together and the way that you're inspiring. Like also a big, piece of us is to be able to dream and grow together, grow. That's one of our core values, right? And so also learning is a big piece. And so we have our ad outreach library. And so every month, any of our team members can request any book and we'll buy the book for them. We'll send it to them. We just ask that they read it, and go through and if they have insights, they can share it. And that, like those types of things, like, it's a small thing, right? It's like buying all of your team members, and not everybody buys a book every month, right? Because also, like people know it's like part of our core values, right? One of them is integrity, right? So people, they're going to get a book as they're going to read a book, so they might get it every couple months, or some people read a lot every month or every few months. But basically, they have the opportunity to continue to learn and grow, right? We'll buy people, we'll send people to events or different things, or I've gotten masterminds for my team members, right? It's like, I think there's a certain level where you realize, wait a second, like how can I do that as well?
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, I promised a tactical one. All right, I'll do this real quick. LinkedIn job ads. And I was telling you about this too.
Yeah.
LinkedIn job ads, you can create a full job description and post on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, there's a way that people can say that they're open to work, even if they're currently employed. So what we found is on Indeed and other platforms, people that currently have a position, they're not going on there as much. It kind of feels like they feel a little off about it, right? But going on LinkedIn, people are going on LinkedIn anyways. There's a hidden kind of secret field that they can put where they say that they are open to work. And so you can get in front of them with a job post. And essentially you can reach people that might already have a role, which sometimes are some of the best people. And then get in front of them with your better offer. And then job ads allows you to target people based on their qualifications. So you can literally run an ad targeted to your ideal audience member, which is great. Or ideal team member, I mean to say.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. No, it's super useful. And yeah, we did chat about that the other day, and it sounds like a great strategy to find the right talent. So when it comes to a work-life balance, what are your thoughts on that? Do you have a work-life balance? How do you prioritize like me time versus business time? Like, is there a clear separation, or would you say it's more of a lifestyle business for you?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I think that it's definitely an interesting thing. I definitely work a lot more than a lot of people that maybe aren't entrepreneurs. I think a lot of entrepreneurs know, like, hey, there's a lot of stuff that you dive into and you work. But I like to live kind of the fullness of living life at a high level, right? And I know you also share. I like from our conversations, I know you share similar areas, like working super hard, but also enjoying and doing different things. So going to events, like I find that so much fun, if going out to like going to like a mastermind or going to a different event or, doing something or going to some kind of, activity that is going to be great, right? It's like, it might be, we were talking about, we missed each other because it was 2 separate years, but going, fishing in Cabo, and although, getting a little seasick maybe isn't the most fun, but the fishing and stuff like, like those types of things, it's like, I want to play all out at like a high level. And that means that I am working a lot. That's like the lifestyle that I chose. And like, I'm doing a lot with business, and I also get to have great experiences that I probably wouldn't otherwise get to have. Yeah. And it's that combination.
The work hard, play hard equation.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Awesome. Cool. So is there any one last thought you want to leave our audience with today? Like whether it's just business or YouTube ads, like anything at all, words of wisdom.
Yeah. So I think the biggest like words of wisdom is the entrepreneur's mindset. And I keep going back to this, and I have to remind myself of this as well, is it really is that you win or you learn. And if you start looking at life like that, right, it makes everything a win-win, because learning's also winning, right? So you win or you learn. So you either see a success in something that you do, or you learn from it and you can grow from it. Now, there really only are 2 true failures, right? And one is the ultimate failure, which is giving up, right? The failure to continue, giving up. But you're in complete control. That's the crazy thing. You realize you're in complete control of giving up, right? So the failure to continue, and then the other one is the failure to learn. Right. So learning from your mistakes. If you don't learn, then that really also is a failure too, because then you made the mistake for nothing and you're destined just to repeat it again and again. So those are the 2 failures. Everything else is a success in its own way. It's either a win, something works out really well, or it's a learning lesson that you can compound on and say, hey, this didn't work out the way that I wanted, but I'm going to learn from it and I'm going to do better next time. And you start doing that, you start building a tower and start, really being able to grow bigger and bigger, because you just naturally are stacking up wins and stacking up learning lessons that make you more wise, give you more, skills, and that's going to allow you to succeed long term. So that's the thing I keep going back to, the entrepreneur's mindset.
Awesome. Well, cool, man. Thank you so much for joining me here today. This has been really great. And when somebody wants to find some more information on you or your businesses, where's the best place to find you?
Absolutely. So I actually have a free gift for everybody that's watching or listening.
Perfect.
It is a 19-page YouTube ad strategy PDF. You can go to adoutreach.com/gift. That's ADOUTREACH.com/GIFT. adoutreach.com/gift. And you can get that for free. And then you can also follow me on all major social media platforms. Of course, I post a lot on YouTube, a lot of value-based content. Just look me up, Aleric Heck, and we'll see you there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Alrighty, guys, this was another episode of Better Business with Austin Zelan, and we'll see you next time.